Hey there friends, it's Mark Crilley. I'm back with another How to Draw video. Some of you may be waiting for my next message to my subscribers video. It is coming hopefully early next week, but I wanted to get to this video that people have been asking for years. Literally a drawing video on how to draw people kissing. I'm going to begin by, in time-lapse, drawing a simple square kind of a grid structure. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we've got this in place, and you'll see that this is kind of a simple square. It's about 4 inches on all sides. And then this line comes right across the middle, the horizontal line. And then here we've got just a little bit of a diagonal tilt to the vertical line. That's going to help us get the lines of the profile right. Now, I think what I want to do is add just 2 more lines to get us started. One of them is a curving line that comes right across about halfway between these two. Just a curving line. This is going to be the lines of the 2 characters' jaws, sort of jaw lines. And then maybe one other curving line here that's going to be starting where the girl's nose is going to come off into her profile. But having got those 2 in place, just so that you can get the details right, I'm going to zoom right into this area, which is really going to be the toughest part of the drawing for most people. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. This line, as I said, is the line of her nose, the female character here on the left, and it comes off at sort of a gradual slanting angle before tilting up into the line of her forehead. And over here, we are going to do another line dipping down to be the other side of her nose. All of this coming right in at that intersection of the 2 lines. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to come down here and draw her chin, which curves right up until it sort of meets that line. And then follows that curving line that we did to begin with for the bottom part of her jaw. Now, this series of lines here is the really tricky part. We have a line coming off at a pretty sharp angle to delineate her upper lip. See how I did that? I said delineate instead of indicate. And then curving back down here, this one line really kind of becomes his lower lip as the 2 characters lock lips, I guess is really the only way of putting it. And this line comes off at a somewhat gentler angle, and you may see just a little bit of her lower lip tucked behind his. And at this point, we may want to get into what we call negative space, where those of you who've studied art, the teacher may talk about negative space. This little area in here, if you replicate that in your drawing, that can help you to get all these lines in just the right place. And then his jaw is going to come off in a fairly angular way, coming back here. We can't really see his whole nose. It's obscured by her nose, but let's go in here and get the bridge of his nose as it comes up and like hers, kind of tilts back into the forehead. And hopefully we've got enough space to get the eyes in here. I'm going to make one line that kind of cuts across here. You may look at this section here, this sort of triangle that forms, as giving you a sense of where this diagonal line goes, you know, the sort of angle that it's at. And what happens is right here where it intersects with that horizontal line is where her eyelashes can come in to form her eye in profile. She's got her eyes closed in this pose. Of course, there is the classic tradition of the surprising kiss, where one of the participants has their eye wide open because they can't believe that they're having their first kiss or whatever. So, but then we get the eyebrow in here, a certain distance. See if you can get that distance there. And then his eye is pretty much going to be coming off right here at that same line. But I now realize that I've zoomed in so close that you can't really see that. So I'm going to have to pull back to get the rest of that in. But while we're down here, and I generally hold off until the end for this, but some people like to add the classic blushies, and this is where they would go. And notice the direction. They're kind of following along with her face. Right here, if you choose to add them. His blushies, and they both are slightly embarrassed or whatever, intense emotion, would be coming off at a slightly different angle. Some people may feel that I've kind of overdone it with the blushy action here, so you can tame that back a little bit if you want to. Let's go ahead and just put in a light indication of where her neck is going to come off. It can be tricky to get to the distance right between the chin and the neck. His neckline is a similar distance coming back here, but his jaw is at an angle, and as a result we're going to have a little bit of a line coming off here. I'll maybe get into that more as we pull back to do the rest of the drawing. So those are in many ways the toughest lines of the drawing. I'm going to go ahead and put his the sort of profile of his eye. As I said, it sort of follows right along there in the same direction as hers. Of course, I'm not going to make his eyelashes quite as thick as hers, but get his eyebrow in there. And the rest of this I may have to sort of do at a much faster pace because I don't want this video to go on and on forever. But let's go ahead and talk about where her the lower part of her ear is going to go. I think it kind of comes in right back towards the end of this line right here. We're not, her hair is going to cover up a certain part of her ear. And in his case, the jawline curving back up here, and we'll find his ear, although again the hair is going to be kind of obscuring part of it, is going to come right around in here. And I'm going to get just a little bit of shading in here to show how his jaw is leaning back. You know, this is what allows him to be in the position of kissing her. Is his head needs to be sort of tilted back a little bit so that their noses don't mush into one another. And I'll get a little bit of a shadow here for the beneath her jaw. And let's go ahead and move on into the hair. I don't want this to be a video so much about how to draw the hair. I'm a big believer in everyone coming up with their own hairstyles. In fact, I have to assume that people requesting this video had characters of their own, right? They'd invented their own characters, and they want those characters to be involved in some kind of a romance story, let's say. But every time they get to that point where the characters are supposed to kiss, that's when it becomes like, oh man, my drawing just doesn't look right. So hopefully this will allow you to draw that crucial panel in your story, and then you can just draw the hairstyles the way you like. I had, in Miki Falls, I had a big crucial moment. Spoilers! Spoiler alert, people! Where my characters kiss for the first time. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know if I did it that well in terms of the accuracy of all the lines being in just the right place. If I could pass along one lesson in general to anyone who watches my videos, it would be, learn from my mistakes in the sense that every line is just absolutely crucial. I think sometimes people get into drawing manga, and I was guilty of this myself at the beginning, and they have insufficient respect for the importance of where each line goes. And they think, oh yeah, well if I just draw this here and there, that'll be fine. And I have found through hard experience that that is not the case. Those lines are there for a reason, and you really have to be careful about replicating them exactly. That being said, I think it's time maybe for me to really go ahead and kick this into time-lapse to do some of the final lines. I'm going to go over all these lines with my trusty black Prismacolor. It's just a simple colored pencil. And then I may go straight from there into the shading. Apologies if all of this flies by too fast, but I really do think that this area right in here is the crucial thing that gives people a lot of trouble. So let's go ahead and finish up this drawing. All right, well, sorry I had to zip through so much of this in the very end of the video. I know I was trying to cover an awful lot of ground in this one, and I think what may be needed is a second video in which I focus more on the pose. A lot of times the female character may have her hand on his cheek, so let's plan on me doing a second video in which we get more, pull back a little and you see the upper torso. I can get into the pose and different stuff like that as you see characters like this in an embrace. But for now, I want to thank one more time anyone who has bought my manga series Miki Falls or Brody's Ghost. I really do greatly appreciate your support, those of you who spread the word about my videos. Honestly, you people have truly changed my life, and I really can't thank you enough for that, the support and the enthusiasm that I have gotten from all of you over the years. But let me go ahead and lay the pencil down. I want to thank you one more time for watching this video. I hope you found it useful, and I will be back with another one real soon.